Ever pondered why two nations sharing the same peninsula, speak the same language, and have a common history stand divided today? The seeds of this division were sown in the aftermath of World War II. Korea, once under Japanese rule, found itself split into two by the victorious superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. North of the 38th parallel, the Soviets established a communist regime, while the Americans set up a democratic government to the south. These two halves, though on the same peninsula, were worlds apart in terms of ideology. The tension was palpable, the divide stark. The superpowers, each holding steadfast to their respective ideologies, saw Korea as a battleground to assert their dominance. The establishment of two separate governments, one in the north and one in the south, was the result of this ideological tug-of-war. This division set the stage for a conflict that would go down in history as the Korean War. As 1950 dawned, tensions between North and South Korea reached a boiling point, leading to an all-out war. On the 25th of June, North Korea, armed and ready, crossed the 38th parallel, invading South Korea. This bold move was more than just a civil war. It was a clash of ideologies, a battle between democracy and communism. The world watched on, alarmed. The United Nations, predominantly under the influence of the United States, responded swiftly, condemning the invasion and rallying an international military force to aid South Korea. On the other side of the coin, China, with backing from the Soviet Union, provided their support to North Korea. Suddenly, the Korean Peninsula was not merely a battleground between North and South Korea, but had become the front line of the Cold War, a proxy war between two superpowers, the USA and the USSR. Despite the extensive military campaigns and strategies, the war seemed far from over. After 3 years of brutal warfare and no clear victor, the need for a ceasefire became apparent. The death of Joseph Stalin in early 1953 was a defining moment that set the stage for peace talks. The all-consuming war had reached a stalemate, with both sides weary of the relentless conflict and eager for resolution. In July 1951, the long and winding road to armistice began. The negotiations were anything but straightforward. They were peppered with complications, from disagreements over the geographical division of Korea to the repatriation of prisoners of war. Each issue was a hurdle, a stumbling block on the path to peace. The talks were a chess game of diplomacy, with each side carefully maneuvering for advantage. It was a test of patience and resolve, but after 2 years of arduous negotiations, the efforts finally bore fruit in the form of the Korean Armistice Agreement. On July 27, 1953, the Korean Armistice Agreement was signed, bringing an end to the active hostilities, but not the war itself. This crucial document, inked by representatives from North Korea, China, and the United Nations Command, had several key stipulations. It led to the establishment of the Korean Demilitarized Zone, a 2.5-mile wide buffer area stretching across the Korean Peninsula. This DMZ was designed to serve as a physical barrier between the two Koreas, a stark symbol of their enduring division. The agreement also facilitated the exchange of prisoners of war, a monumental task that saw tens of thousands of soldiers return to their respective homes. However, it's crucial to remember that this was an armistice, not a peace treaty. Technically, the war was put on pause, not ended. This means that technically North and South Korea are still at war, albeit a largely silent one. The Korean Armistice Agreement remains one of the most significant events in modern history, a poignant reminder of a war that has yet to officially end.